At the bottom of my garden, there's a hedgehog and a frog, and a lot of creepy crawlies living underneath a log. There's a baby daddy longlegs, and an easy-going snail, and a family of woodlice, all are on my nature trail. There are caterpillars waiting for their time to come to fly. There are worms turning the earth over as ladybirds fly by. Birds will visit, cats will visit, but they always choose their time. And I've even seen a fox visit this wild garden of mine. Squirrels come to nick my nuts, and busy bees come buzzing. And when the night time comes, sometimes some dragonflies come humming. My garden mice are very shy, and I've seen bats that growl, and in my garden I have seen a very wise old owl. My garden is a lively place. There's always something happening. There's this constant search for food, and then there's all that flowering. When you have a garden, you will never be alone. And I believe we all deserve a garden of our own.
Oh, it's beautiful, wasn't it? We can speak to Benjamin now. Thank you so much for being with us today on the programme. You know, I've got 3 children, and I'm sure many people are the same. In the last year or so, they have been really enjoying, because we've been at home so much, looking out in the garden, watching the birds, watching the wildlife, taking far more notice of the world around them. I think your poem sort of hits exactly where so many people have been for the last year.
And it's very interesting, you know, well, good morning, but it's a poem I wrote a while ago. I didn't write it during lockdown. But what I did one day, I mean, I noticed there were some animals in my garden, but I put some cameras out one night and then saw this place that I thought I knew very well just come to life in the middle of the night. And I thought, wow, there's so much happening here in the daytime and in the nighttime that I wanted to capture it. And that's what the poem is about, really. It's about this kind of other type of existence that's going on, and human beings are not the only animals that inhabit this space that we think is ours, but it belongs to all of us, including the little ones.
And like all the best children's books and poems, there's an impact for adults as well, because the message of the poem is sit still, have a look around you, observe what's happening, and you'll see things of wonder, things of beauty. And that's exactly what's happened this year that's taken us by surprise.
All of my children's writing actually is a kind of also a message to the adults. And I like to write for children because you can't just write political slogans. You have to be kind of intelligent and really clever with the way you put a message over. And I kind of like that task. I like to be kind of stretched in that way.
When you are writing for children, it's really interesting you said that there, because I was going to ask you about some of the sort of socio-political stuff that you would normally talk about. Do you take that out entirely, or do you put it in and say, oh, maybe I need to change that a little bit?
No, I mean, I have a book called Talking Turkey, which I wrote a long, long time ago, which is quite a political book, but it's a children's book. But like I said, it's not kind of slogan. It was written at a time when people were writing lots of books and poems about fluffy animals, but I wrote about animals going to slaughter. I wrote about animals that were kind of becoming extinct and things like that. So there's a way of kind of writing for children where you can engage them, but you can be very realistic about the world around us. I think it's kind of wrong to say, you know, I don't know, to say that everything's all fluffy and all nice, and then the children look at the real world and see that we have serious problems. So it's about the balance, I think, in my humble opinion.
And as an adult, is it right that when you go out for a run, for example, if you see a squirrel or an ant, you will make sure you stop, take the time to observe it properly? Because that's the kind of thing I would like to do, but life gets so tense, so stressful, that it's difficult, isn't it, to literally stop and smell the flowers, but we should do more.
Well, first of all, let me correct you. I'm not sure if I'm an adult yet. But yeah, I mean, I do jogging, right? And people will say to me, you know, how far do you go and how quickly do you do it? And I go, I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter.
Because I was jogging and I saw the squirrel and I stopped to talk to it. And then I came across this worm that was really working hard. And I just love animals. And that kind of wonder of the natural world, I've just never lost it. I still look at ants and think, is he going shopping? Is he going to meet his girlfriend? What's he up to? You know, I mean, they all are doing something. They're never just wandering aimlessly. And so that has always fascinated me.
I take it, have you ever run a marathon, Benjamin? You probably take about 6 weeks
7
to do
days,
it.
yeah.
Well, I tell you, I mean, I've been running all my life, and I've had lots of companies actually approach me and say, will you run the marathon? And I am so scared of that. The idea of somebody telling me, here's the start and here's the finish, doesn't work with me. I just go out and I wander around, and sometimes I end up kind of being chased by animals or chasing animals. I just don't know where it's going to take me.
The boy is alive and well in you, isn't he?
Certainly is, and I like to keep it that way.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next series of Peaky Blinders as well, which I'm trying to get Nina into. She can't get beyond
I
it.
wasn't convinced by all the West Midlands accents. Yours is obviously authentic.
I beg your pardon.
Yours is.
She says yours
Not
is
all of them.
authentic.
Nina, we need to hang out.
Right, there you go. There's a plan for you.
That would be great. You can help me to learn to stop and look at the insects with my kids. That would be